Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe it, but the Baltimore Ravens have fired head coach John Harbaugh. I just got done doing a video about 3 hours ago, and I said, look, guys, at this point, I just have zero confidence in this decision being one that this organization ends up making. I thought for sure that John Harbaugh and company would be back to run it back again in the 2026 season, but they want change. Steve Bisciotti, Eric DeCosta, they want to go in a different direction, and I personally think that that is the right decision. Now, I am thankful for all John Harbaugh has done for the Baltimore Ravens, winning a Super Bowl, 18 seasons, and a lot of wins in between. But at the same time, I felt like it was time for a new energy, new voice, new leadership, and I think this is the right call. Unexpected, though, and I want to know, what's your one-word reaction to Harbaugh getting fired? Because I believe that is mine. Unexpected. Did not see this coming. Let me know down below in the comment section. Adam Schefter was the one who broke the news just a shade after 5 o'clock. And I was sitting at my desk getting ready to do a video on the Tennessee Volunteers for later today. And then this news dropped, and I said, oh my gosh, I got to drop everything, get a video out as quickly as possible, and then go live after. We're actually still getting live updates. This one from Diana Rossini. It says, a key pressure point in the John Harbaugh dismissal, according to those familiar in today's discussion, was his refusal to entertain any conversations about potentially moving on from offensive coordinator Todd Monken, which is very, very interesting because it felt like out of all the coordinators, Todd Monken was the one which I thought deserved a chance to stay. Regardless, new information as we are getting it. And look, like I said, I'm thankful for what John Harbaugh has meant to the Baltimore Ravens. Lots of wins, lots of AFC championship game appearances, the Super Bowl, tons of winning seasons. But at the end of the day, man, this team just needed a new leadership. Did it not felt like this year the voice was gone in the locker room? It felt like everything this team went through, their lack of physical toughness, their lack of mental toughness, it all trickled down from the very top. And like, look, if I'm a Giants fan, if I'm a Raiders fan, I would love and be excited about possibly hiring John Harbaugh because those teams, those franchises, they need stability. And that's what John Harbaugh brings. The Baltimore Ravens have stability. They just need somebody to take them over the top. And it's been a very, very long time since John Harbaugh has been able to do that. It felt like he has been the common denominator in a lot of their end-of-game success, their lack of an ability to close out football games. Last 5 minutes of games is a very troubling time for this team. Losses late. And in my opinion, like, the fact that you came into this season being a top 3 team in terms of Super Bowl odds, number 2, Gage, only behind the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions, and you missed the playoffs. They got worse in every single thing from last year to this one. You have a roster that a lot of people look at across the National Football League as one of the best and most complete rosters in football. And you miss the playoffs. And you can't win your division with a lot of teams who aren't very good. Season on the line. The defense lets up 20 points to Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter. It's just time for something new, for something fresh. And we got the update on Saturday from Adam Schefter. He said John Harbaugh's future with the Ravens is up in the air. And at the time, like, that news was exciting to me, but it just felt like every sentiment since the loss on Sunday night over the last almost 2 days has just kind of felt like there's no way the Ravens move on from John Harbaugh. But here we are. It's happening. And now you got to look at what's next. What's going forward. What was your favorite moment of Harbaugh in Baltimore? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'm sure it was a Super Bowl win. Maybe it's something different. Again, thankful for all the seasons he's given us, but it's time for a change. Let me know down below. If you guys want to, make a change in your life, go over, download the Prize Picks app, and use our code CLNS, $50 in lineups. All you got to do is play your first $5. And whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and Prize Picks lets you take control. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. With a new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups for winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. We got the college football playoffs happening Thursday and Friday night. Here are my picks. Taking the less on Fernando Mendoza, 24.5 rushing yards against Oregon. Taking the more on Carson Beck, 239.5 passing yards against Ole Miss. And giving the more on Dante Moore, 216.5 passing yards against the Hoosiers. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And it felt like over the last couple of weeks, since that article came out on Christmas Eve, which, looking at the fact that it said the Ravens were thinking about or should trade Lamar Jackson, and we're here now, is absolutely hilarious of how wrong Mike Preston was there. But it felt like at that moment, this team and this franchise, they were at a crossroads. And they had to decide between Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. Who are you going to pick out of those two to move forward with in the future? And I was home with family when that report came out. I made a video in my parents' basement, and I said, if the Baltimore Ravens choose John Harbaugh over Lamar Jackson, then I will never make a Ravens video ever again. And they didn't. And when it comes to John Harbaugh, I think he's a great coach. Again, I've given him a ton of praise on this video, but I also think he benefit from really, really good rosters. Hall of Famers, the best linebacker of all time, the best safety of all time on that Super Bowl winning team, one of the best defenses in history. Those guys retire, and then it goes into a little bit of a stretch before you get to Lamar Jackson. A lot of people forget that in that small stretch, things were not going well for the Baltimore Ravens. Well, then after that, they draft another Hall of Famer in Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson saves John Harbaugh's career. Plain and simple. I'm just tired of this team coming short time and time again. Tired of them almost getting there. I'm tired of season after season ending in heartbreak. Like I've said 100 times, it's time for a change. My top 5 candidates, engage, we'll just do those top 5 for this one. We'll make a full video on this tomorrow. Brian Flores is my number 1 defensive coordinator from the Minnesota Vikings. Like I said, it felt like the identity of this franchise, play like a Raven, toughness, it was gone. It's nowhere to be found anymore. Brian Flores brings that back. Number 2, Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. Felt like he got dealt a really poor hand in New York, and I think he could be really, really good in Baltimore. Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator with the Los Angeles Chargers. Obviously, he's a younger guy, has Baltimore ties. He was just in Baltimore very recently before leaving to go win national championships in Michigan. Klint Kubiak, offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. I think this is a name everybody should be looking at. He will get a head coaching job, I feel, in this cycle. And then Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. My shine on Jeff Hafley has come off a little bit over the last couple of weeks. Regardless, I think it'd be a nice change. These 4 I would prefer over that, but still. Those are my 5 guys. Brian Flores being my number one. We're going to get out of here. If you're still watching this and we're live, come hang out with us. Gage and myself, chopping it up. And make sure you subscribe as well. Follow me on socials. And we'll see you next time.